section of this?
What's up,
Oh,
the web?
popcorn ceiling.
Popcorn ceiling?
That's what they call me.
Welcome to the live stream of the Doom Ninja podcast.
Woo woo.
I am your host, one of the hosts, the Ninja Fat Man.
He's the only one.
And the other host is...
I'm the all-time guest, Ryan Dombrowski, also known as Doombrowski.
Boom.
So clever. Add an O.
Yep. This is the Doom Ninja podcast, part of the Gonna Geek Network.
Yeah.
Check out the other shows on the Gonna Geek Network.
The other
GonnaGeek.com. And if you're listening to the podcast, you're not, because we're not recording this part yet. So ignore everything I was just about to say.
If you're listening to the podcast and you can hear this,
you
sell your abilities. Go to the Renaissance Festival and open a psychic booth.
What?
This is always where I think the best place is to have one of those booths.
Okay, I'm along with you on the journey. All right. So again, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we tried a little something new today. While we were getting set up, we had a splash page. Thanks, Gonna Geek Podcast I stole some of their production value.
Mm-hmm. And then he took the whip out and said, "Make it, asshole. Make it so." That's what he said.
What?
Yeah. I said, "I'm at work. I don't have a whole lot of time today." He said, "Bullshit. Get on that art."
That sounds accurate.
100%. Pinpoint.
So, we ready to start?
I guess so. What are we going to start with?
We're going to start with my patch.
See, Sandra wants to be a psychic at the festival. She knows.
Get a little logo real quick.
Logo. Titan. No, Fallen. Titan from the sky.
That's their official gameplay trailer.
Oh no. There's 1,000 images on the screen. We're going to get copywritten.
We probably
Copyright.
are.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's Titanfall.
So some insider info. We got a notice from Facebook about using copyright material, even though it was our own gameplay video, and every ounce of music we've ever used on this is handcrafted by the Doombrowski. So we may be looking at other streaming opportunities besides Facebook Live. This is now the second time it's happened. Once actually stopped us midstream, which was annoying. So we may switch to Twitch or YouTube Live or some other options, but that'll be all in the future, because we only have one more live show this year.
That always sounds so much worse than it is.
But we will not miss a Thursday release this month. So everything's on track. We've planned ahead. So this will probably be actually next week is the last of the year. So we'll do one more probably on Facebook, and we come back from the Christmas break. We'll probably have alternative streaming methods that we'll announce way ahead of time. And
yeah, we may have a different day. We may be doing Mondays instead of Tuesdays because of future stuff, but we'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah.
The loop.
All right. So you ready to record?
Yeah. Let me get this open here. Let me double check and make sure that my levels are good. Check the levels. Check looks good.
All right. Ooh, that's not what I wanted.
Let me mute this. And whenever you are ready, I will start the recording.
Start. Ryan.
What up, Nate?
I did this wrong already.
Yeah, you did.
So, Ryan.
So.
We've been talking my love of game right now, Titanfall 2.
Titanfall!
It's been dominating a lot of my playtime, except for giving some other games some love and trying out some other things for the podcast and whatnot.
I'm hearing it's dominating a lot of stuff. People are saying it's awesome everywhere.
I think I predicted what happened is Battlefield 1 came out the week before, and the shiny newness of Battlefield 1 is wearing off, so people are looking for another new toy, and it's Titanfall 2. And I think after Christmas, we're going to see a really big upswing in Titanfall 2 sales, which is going to make me just happy, just a bigger player base.
I wonder if it's going to be bundled with any systems also for the holidays.
I don't know. I haven't looked. But they released their first major patch. It's not. It was. I say major. It was its first content patch. they released Angel City, which is a brand new map. I like the map a lot. It's wide open spaces. They're at a line of what I call line of sight limiters. They, in my opinion, their philosophy is screw snipers.
Okay.
Because like a lot of Call of Duty, where you just people find a little cubby hole and just snipe the whole game. They'll go 40-0, but there was no risk, so they just found some safety. That's really hard to do in Titanfall. There's very few maps where there is commonly traveled areas that have long lines of sight. They want you to do the wall running and the jumping and use the whole X, Y, and Z of the map.
Parkour.
Very much. And so Angel City keeps in that theory. There's a lot of wide open. There's a lot of really cool places to kind of cruise through a city. You can wall run all over that city, which is to me not a lot of people do in the multiplayer. It's just kind of run on the ground, but you go way faster. It's harder to hit when you're wall run. So that's my thoughts.
Well, it's more realistic now because I wall run pretty much everywhere in real life.
That's a true story. So, they added their first cosmetic DLC. So there's a bunch of little cosmetic packs that are $1 a piece right now.
Eyeliner, eyeshadow, and blush and stuff.
Yeah. I think you can get $8, gets you every ounce of downloadable content in the game as far as cosmetics go. The map is free. And
that's awesome.
Respawn has said they will not charge for expansions to the game because they do not want to segment the player base, which immediately made me love Respawn.
Did they say they were going to make expansions, though?
Yep. They've committed to I want to say it's 11 more maps after this one will come out during the life cycle. So they are they're really good about keeping the player base who decide to go with these guys loyal. Where a lot of games nowadays cost $120, $60 for the game, $60 for the season pass.
Yeah, that's
crazy
to think about. I mean, we had an episode that was talking about Day 1 DLC and on-disc DLC and whatnot. It's a little wacky. I get it, because there's a lot more money involved in making the games, but
the price point's kind of set at $60, but games are getting more expensive to make. I get it. It's just hopefully Respawn's got the formula to make money, and these cosmetic things, I don't mind. I really don't, because it's like League of Legends. League of Legends, to spend money in it means you got something cosmetic and does not affect the outplay of the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Same thing here. They give people opportunity to support them, also look a little different, look a little cool, and they can make some money off of it. So I think this is a good test case to see if they can make this model. I already talked to the bank, aka the wife, and I'm going to get all the DLC just so they have it. Plus support them, and also there's a couple cool ones. They have a skin for the Tone. That's my favorite Titan. That they're definitely going to...
Is it like Tone Loke? When you come in from the sky, it's like, funky cold Medina.
Kinda. That's exactly how it works.
Awesome.
So I'm going to pick up that stuff probably next week. Additionally, they did some little quality of life, if you will. When you win a match before, on the right-hand side of the screen, it showed the score. Now on the left, it shows your banner, which is kind of customizable based on unlocks and things you've done in the game. The top 3 people's banners now displayed very largely on the left. So it's kind of just kind of bragging rights. Even if you're in the losing team and you had a higher score, you're still up there. So it shows some, like I said, mostly bragging rights. A little bit of like, oh, that guy's got a cool patch or a banner or whatever. They also add multiplayer stats, which wasn't in the game. I don't know. I thought the initial philosophy might have been not to encourage people to pad stats, just play the game and get out there. So they've added the ability to look at the stats. However, the stats had been recorded the whole time. So it does show your lifetime from the game launched.
Okay.
Death, kills, cool. How you kill, how many times the things.
Sounds like they had an idea for that from the get-go, and maybe it just took them a little extra.
Could have been some of these servers or some kind of lag or latency issues. I'm surprised at my KDA. Usually in first-person shooters, KDA is kill-death assist ratio, so it's how many times you get a kill or an assist per death. I'm usually lucky to get above 1, just because of my type of play style. I push objectives hard, which I usually win objective-based games. It's also why I don't play team deathmatch and stuff, where my play style is actually detrimental to the team. Sorry, I got a crazy nose itch. So mine's actually 4. My KDA is 4, which I was like, that's actually really good. But I feel I do pretty decent. I'm usually in the top 3 on my team, if not the top 1, winning and losing on my team at all times.
Oh, shit, this guy. I'm usually within, like, the top 1, you know.
Well,
There's no 0, otherwise I'd be there.
yeah, true story.
S rank.
It's the first time I've actually really been really good at a first-person shooter in the spot where I'm like, there's no way of playing like truly competition.
And it's console that you're playing on too, right?
Yeah, which is harder.
And it's
which
more
is my
difficult.
bane. Usually, I refuse to play first-person shooters on console for a long time. They also changed. There were some light changes to weapons to balance them out. Some were just too powerful, and some were too weak. Like they try to balance out. Like if it shoots a lot of bullets, they're usually not going to hit very hard. Or if it shoots slow or has a slow read time, they shoot really hard. Or they do a lot of damage, I should say. So that was balanced a little bit. Some bug fixes, and then the only thing that changed that really ticked me off is the Titans. They have pluses and minuses. Some have more kind of hit points and hit harder. Some hit really hard, but they're glass cannons. My Titan favorite one's Tone. You shoot it with a cannon, and it adds this little hit marker. And after 3 hit markers, you can hit RB, and you launch little mini rockets at it because you've locked on. Well, that was the primary damage, is actually getting the lock on and hitting the button. Well, these one guys that have a sword and are super quick, but they do a ton of damage, glass cannon. They now have ability, if they do a phase dash where they kind of disappear and reappear, they drop all their locks. So one of the things you could do is you hit them twice, they would phase in to close the gap when you can't hit them, and you appear, you hit them one more time, and then boom, you don't necessarily kill them right away, but you do a lot of damage. Where they can just close the gap, and then next thing you know, you're getting literally a sword up your ass.
That phase slash, how often can they use that? Is it like a long cooldown?
There is a cooldown that's also based on kills. Kills improves your cooldown, so you potentially could slash a bunch of NPCs, hit a Titan, and then phase immediately onto me, which you've then wiped 2/3 of my hits on you as far as the lock goes, and then start swinging on me, and I have to rebuild, and I only have 1 dash, and it's not as big. So, I mean, they're more on the pulse of what's balancing. For me, it's annoying because those guys do a lot of burst damage. So we'll see how that plays out. But overall, super happy with the game. I like everything they've really done with it. I have no complaints. This patch just made it better, in my opinion. The new map right now is only at 24. They call it 24/7, where they have like 3 map types and or 3 game types, and that you stay on that one map and just play the different game types. And then I think next week it goes into rotation on all game types.
Yeah, every time we talk about this game, I just want to play it a little bit more.
Yeah, I've converted a lot of people, and they watch some of my videos on YouTube, or they've just seen me play, or like my phone, you can see your Xbox captures. You can say Xbox record that, and it records 30 seconds. We've talked about quite a few times. I show them, or they've gone and looked at it them just proactively, and they're like, "This looks amazing." So, patch made me happy. I'm glad that they're very active. They're very active on Twitter. They're very active in forums. The response really cool with their community. So I would highly, if you haven't already bought into Titanfall, it's actually on sale in a lot of places right now. I think Target still has it on sale. With Christmas season coming up, it's on sale in quite a few places, typically in that $35 range.
That's sweet, because it's still pretty new. I mean, it hasn't been out very long.
It came out 10/28. So
yeah, it's still really new.
Yeah. And so check it out. The patch is pretty neat. You can see the patch notes online to see a little more details on the weapon changes and bug fixes if you really want to.
Yeah, and again, it's all free. Like this extra content, you don't have to pay anything extra for it.
And they said that that's the model for at least Titanfall 2. They may change their mind for Titanfall 3 if it doesn't, if the accountants say, hey, this didn't work. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
Halfway through expansion stuff, they're like, we're putting the rest of the expansions in 3. Screw you.
Yeah. But they said this is at least an 18-month production cycle. So,
damn.
I'm hoping to get a lot of playtime out of this and convert you and some others into getting this game. Check it out. If you already play, find me on Xbox, Nate Gray, that's GREY0130, and I'll definitely play. And if you need help or some tips and tricks, I'll definitely walk you through some stuff as well.
And so he'll look down at you from the top 1 percentile.
The top 0. Remember, that's the
top 0.
I'm so good. I'm making up rankings.
Yeah, so you're over the top. You turn your hat backwards like a switch. Makes you feel like a truck.
Yeah.
You get crazy eyes.
That was a horrible movie.
That movie was good. What are you talking about?
No, have you gone back? When's the last time you've seen it?
Like a year ago. I bought it with like Demolition Man and Tango and Cash and some other specialists.
I watched it when it was a new movie. We had HBO way back in the day, and my dad loved it. My grandpa liked it. We watched it like it was on HBO back in the day. There was only like 10 movies, and they just showed them on a loop. So we saw it a bunch. I saw it 3 weeks ago, on Crackle or something. It was one of the random streaming sites, as like the vintage movies, and I was like, this is so horrible.
It's so good. The little dickhead kid just turned around. He's like, I'm a good dad. I can arm wrestle good.
I'm not very lazy. Whoa. I am clipping the shit out of the mic.
Dude.
Let's turn that down some, because yeah, that might be rough.
Might be unusable.
Hope not.
It's unusable. Oh.
Can you pull the audio from the video?
If I did, I would probably just use all of the audio from the video.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll save this and see if it's usable. I didn't even notice that.
Nate.
Those in the live stream, this is the wonders of watching a live recording. You see us go, oh crap.
Half of Doom Ninja tested their audio before recording.
This guy. I got like 30 things to set up on the computer. Dude. You just plug in a couple cables.
Don't even start. Oh no, are you tooting?
No.
It sounds like you dropped some billiard balls.
No, that's the
okay.
The springs in my thing creaking.
I was too used to hearing Kale fart like these weird sounding, yeah, like very specific sounding farts.
For the record, Super Mom of the show said hi.
Saw that. I did respond.
And then we got some new people I've never seen before. Oak Cleaver Nar Williams.
Williams, buddy of mine. He's going to Thailand.
Beard?
Yeah, you know William.
I know William, yeah. My wife has never forgiven him for saying her burp smelled like corn nuts. We went to, were you doing a Miami with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
He's like, oh, your burp smells like corn nuts. And she's like, she's hated him ever since. Good times. Kale says it's the springs.
Yeah. I specifically heard pool balls being dropped, but like in the other room. There was a wall blocking it.
Alright, we're going to talk about the next game.
Double check your audio, make sure it's going to not spike like a mofo.
Yeah. Hello? That might be too low. Oh, yeah, let's bring that up just a hair. Hello? It's me again.
Is it me you're looking for?
Just a skosh higher.
Skosh.
Sorry guys, gotta get these levels right. I don't know how they got changed because I set it up once and try never do it again. Alright, that looks good.
It's your redneckedness that changed it.
Yeah.
Straight up rednecked.
Ryan.
Nate.
So we both got the Humble Bundle Monthly.
Yes, we did.
We thought it was a great way to get some games, and the issue we've run into the past couple weeks is our libraries don't necessarily match up.
No.
And it's difficult from a fiscal standpoint to try to buy all the same games all the time.
Nate's more of a AAA player, I'm more of an indie player, and there's very few between that we both had.
Yeah, so I've been expanding my AAA library, but it tends to be games that you don't have, and then the same thing, vice versa. So we decided this would be a great way to have fodder for the podcast, as it were.
Yep, and to expose other games that maybe people haven't seen.
Yeah. So what is the game that we decided to play this week?
This week, we decided on one that just came out in early access Friday, December 2nd. It's called Minion Masters Forced to Duel. It's there's a whole universe of Forced, is what it's called. This, I guess, is within that universe. It's made by a studio called Beta Dwarf. From what it looks like, they plan on having some sort of free model and then like a premium upgrade, because there is in-app purchasing type of stuff, which I don't really care for, personally, because games like that tend to be very grindy.
Yeah.
And I like my experiences for some games to be a little more together and not feel like I have to keep trudging along, which a lot of the in-app purchase games tend to do. So this game, for those who don't know, which is probably just about everybody, because it just came out, it's So you got towers on both ends. And, like, what it reminded me of, honestly, is like a mix between a tower defense game, sorta, and League of Legends.
That's a fair way.
Because you have
There's two lanes.
yeah, you have two lanes, and then your Nexus, which is also like a tower. It shoots as well, which is your hero. You have like this god figure or something like that, and you're putting only in this scenario, instead of minions just auto spawning, you're creating them with cards, quote unquote cards.
Yeah, you have
that you get
a deck.
Yeah. So, from what I gather, because I played through the tutorial missions and I played a few missions against people, you your hero is unique, as it has different abilities that it gains throughout the gameplay. You gain experience by, I think the only way you gain it is by having the lane controlled.
Yep.
So, in order to control the lanes at the top and bottom, like, first let me kind of draw a picture of what the map looks like. So think of there being somewhat of a square on the left side and a square on the right side, which is your zones. One player has the left zone, the other player has the right zone. And then at the top and the bottom, there's a bridge. And the bridge starts out neutral. It's like gold or white or something like that. And as soon as one of your minions walks over it, it changes color. And it's now...
And you start gaining XP.
Yep, you start gaining experience. And the bridges don't touch each other. They're separated by a gap of nothingness in between, which does matter. There's strategy in that. And when you place minions down, you can choose any side on your side of the board. But if you put it within like the top half, they're going to go on the top path. And if you put it on the bottom half, they'll walk along the bottom path. They all automatically move and they automatically attack. They do their own thing. All you do is put it down.
Yeah, they have behaviors that they follow.
Yes, yeah, that's where you get the variance in the game. So not everything just runs and attacks with a sword or anything like that.
Some things prioritize certain types of targets.
Yep.
Some things are effective against certain targets and less effective versus others.
Yeah, one of the main guys that you get right off the bat only attacks towers. That's all he attacks, but he has a ton of health.
And he's slow, though.
Yeah, he's very slow, but he has a ton of health. He does a lot of damage to towers, but that's all he hits. So if you get a lot of little dudes on him, they can potentially take him out because he's not going to fight them back. Like, it doesn't matter if they're weak. The way that the spells are cast in this game, they all have a cost, and you have a mana bar at the bottom that just slowly regenerates as the game goes along.
It's to the second, right? When I was playing, I was trying to count. I think it's 1 second is 1 mana.
I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention to it. It felt like it was longer to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But it's not very long between each mana that regenerates. And you can build your deck, but when you start out, it just gives you a deck. It's like, here you go, here's a deck.
That's actually fairly balanced, actually. Like, I looked at it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
The decks only contain one of each type of card, so it's not like Hearthstone where you have 2 or Magic where you can have 4. There's literally one that you put in the deck. And I believe it's... I think it's like 8 or 10, something like that. But there's not very many. And the way that your hand works, so you have a hand of 4 cards, and then it shows to the left what your next card is going to be, like a little image of it. And when you play a card, the next card goes into your hand, and then there's another random card to the left that appears. So within your 8 to 10 cards that you have, it'll just randomly keep generating your next card. It just won't... I believe it will not generate duplicates.
Yeah, you can't have this. It will not have the same one in the
Yeah, if I remember correctly, your next card won't be a duplicate, and the ones in your hand can't be duplicates. So there's sort of a less randomness in that regard because I'm gonna get one of these.
You're not gonna get 3 of a weaker guy or 4 of a guy that takes 7 mana to cast.
Yeah. The heroes. I actually bought one of the heroes because we got the premium pack, and the premium pack includes some of the multiple currencies that are in the game, and you can use the currencies to buy the heroes. There's a couple free ones, but I was like, screw it, I'm just going to buy this one because he looks cool. He's like some necromancer or something. Cool. And the heroes, when they get experience, they get... a lot of them get like passive abilities and maybe some extra active abilities. The hero that I had its first ability was put a tombstone in your deck, and it costs 0, I believe, and the next thing that dies will regenerate at that tombstone. Nice. So every hero has some sort of unique type of thing like that. So that was kind of cool. I like that. I actually like the way the game plays. It was pretty fun. It reminds me a lot of... there was an old Magic the Gathering game that came out for consoles called Magic Battlegrounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like that. You cast a spell and it just auto moves and does its thing, and you just kind of strategize which order you want to cast things and where exactly you want to put them.
Yeah, I like the on the go strategy. Like there's not a you can't go into the game going, I'm gonna play this card and this card and this card and this card because
Yeah, you can't just say I'm gonna get all things that destroy towers. It's just not gonna work.
you have to you kind of it's you throw out your first volley or two. It's like it's like a lot like chess or any tactics game. You make your first couple moves, then it becomes a react and respond type situation where you're like, okay, this guy played this over here, so I need to play this there, or hey, this guy played this, I need to play the counter to it. Like the big slow moving guy, you can either send a horde of little guys, or at least there's a couple mobs that will stun.
Yeah, those guys are super good, and they're good against other big guys. Not just the one that like takes down buildings, but there's another big guy that has a cleaver. Yeah, he swings every 5 seconds, but they stun every 2 seconds.
Yeah,
it's stun locked completely. So there's definitely strategy. Some enemies are spawned in hordes, so there would be like I got a spell that spawns like 7
scrats
in this. Yeah, the scrat horde.
I got
that card is so good, but you can get completely destroyed by a grenadier because it'll shoot the grenade and then it just explodes in this AoE and it does a little bit of damage, but they only have a little bit of health. So for their 3 mana spell, they can destroy your 5 mana spell, and that's where more of the strategy comes in. You also have spells in the game. Like, there's a fireball, for instance, that you can cast anywhere. You can cast it on your opponent's side. See, that's the unique part about these, because you can't put your minions on the opponent's side, but you can cast a spell on the opponent's side. And there's... What are the ones that I saw?
There's travel time on that fireball.
It does take time. It launches it from your guy. You have to lead them and like gauge where they're going to be, because there's like a fireball that does a lot of damage in a fairly moderate size radius.
It'll kill most packs.
Yeah. I also got a shock, like a stun grenade thing, and it's a slightly smaller area. It deals less damage, but it stuns for 2 seconds, and it costs 2 mana as opposed to 4 mana that the fireball costs. I also got a like a dagger barrage that hits wide minion areas.
I've got that, but I haven't thrown it in my deck yet.
It's whatever. Like, I don't really feel too great about it. And then I recently got a stun grenade that doesn't deal damage. It stuns in a large radius for 7 seconds. And it costs 4.
Yeah.
So that actually gives you time to throw a stun down and then place minions and have them attack, like, in between it, which is pretty cool. Another type of card in this game. So we have regular minions with their alternate abilities. You got spells, and there are also buildings, like structures.
I don't have a single building yet. I just haven't got one.
I've gotten 2, no, I think 3 now. The first one I got was, it looks like a hourglass, like a demon hourglass, and it spawns the ground-crawling zombie guys, like Scrabblers or something like that. It spawns 3 of them. They do decent damage, but they have very, very little health, and they're in a pack of 3. And the buildings will just gradually decrease in health over time, so you can't just place down a lot of buildings and just control the board.
Yeah.
They will die after a certain amount of time, and things that attack buildings will attack those. So they prioritize that first. But the little scrap whatever building was pretty good, because if you keep it alive, it spawns tons of mana worth of guys. If you think about it, the thing that it's spawning costs 2 mana, the tower costs 5 mana, and it'll spawn those guys maybe 10 times while it's alive.
Nice.
That's a ton of mana that you get. But if they come by and kill it quick, it's just a complete waste. Another one that I had was like a laser turret, and it says the more that it hits the same enemy in order, like it'll just keep hitting the same one, it'll start shooting faster and doing more damage.
Oh, that's cool.
So if the tower
I think I've got that
close,
one, but I don't think I've tried it out yet.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It was so-so. It was kind of whatever. And then I got another one that spawns like a warrior or something, but I haven't used it. It looks like a porta potty. That's something to note about the game. It's very lighthearted.
Have you ever played Orcs Must Die?
I haven't, but I've seen the artwork for it.
So the Orcs Must Die, the MOBA version, I think it's called Orcs Must Die Unchained. That's what it's called.
Okay.
It's a MOBA version, almost Smite style, like it's a 3D, not a top-down or kind of 3/4 view. The artwork for this game reminds me of that. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit, and it doesn't take itself serious, but it's still quality artwork.
Yeah. And some of it kind of, I got balances of like World of Warcraft, honestly. I felt like the whelp, like the dragon whelp thing, looked like it could have been a pet in World of Warcraft.
Or Onyxia. What do you call it? The fledglings or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whelps.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and flying is kind of cool in this game too. Flying will fly between the bridges, which is something that's notable. Nothing else can walk between the bridges, and anything that doesn't have like a ranged attack can't hit it at all. So there will be like this big, strong guy walking by, and it won't do anything. This whelp's just biting it over and over.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
More of the strategy to it. So I guess, would you say you like the game?
Well, there's still a couple other things I want to talk about that are in the game.
Okay.
Because I'm on the fence. Like, I like some of it, but other things I don't really care for. That's the other stuff I want to talk about. So,
well, hold on. Let me do my pluses then. We'll kind of do a
all right,
pro con.
You plus it, I'll minus it.
I like the playstyle. There's no match will ever be the same because again, it's like chess. The first two opening moves you might stick with a couple things, and then it's all reaction and being proactive. So that part of it's great. I need to figure out there's multiple currencies in the game. You have gold, crystals, and then there's rubies. And they do different things in the game. Some are harder to get than others. So you can grind out every item in the game, it looks like. It just may take longer than others, and some are kind of shortcuts. So it's not pay to win, it's pay to get there faster.
Yeah, but in a scenario where somebody is coming in free, it is pay to win. Because you can pay money to buy cards, essentially, because you don't get all the cards in this game. It's like Hearthstone or Duelist, where you grow your collection as you're playing, and you can pay for cards, which is where one of my gripes is. When you get a pack, now, my experience with online card games would be Magic Online, Hearthstone, and Duelist.
Yep.
And every one of those, you get multiple cards in a pack. The first time, I'm sure you probably opened a pack as well. The first time I opened a pack, it had this circle, like this little wheel. It had like 8 cards on it and some crystals and stuff in between. I was like, awesome! I got a pack of cards. It even had a legendary in the wheel. I was like, oh, that's so cool! I got a legendary. And then it starts spinning.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I guess this is their animation for opening a pack. And it stops on some crap common card.
Yep.
And that's your card. That's the only thing you get from the entire thing. It's just a cock tease, honestly. I can't explain it any other way. Because I opened over 20 packs.
Yeah, we got
because
a ton.
We got the premium upgrade with the Humble Bundle, so it gave me a lot of currency as well. So I bought a lot of packs because I was like, all right, I want to make a better deck just to see how it plays. And I saw probably 5 legendaries go by. Never got them. A bunch of epics that went by. I got like 1. It feels bad. It just feels bad opening the packs and seeing that the other ones are there, but knowing in the back of my mind the algorithm knows what I'm gonna get. You can hit a button and skip the animation, and just get whatever you're gonna get.
So I understand the gripe, but I also think either I got blessed by RNGesus or you got cursed by RNGesus. I got a legendary and an epic.
It happens.
I got some commons, I got some rares, I got a full mix, but I got a legendary epic. My legendary, I think, is bugged. She's supposed to blink if she gets hit by melee damage. And she just gets hit and sits there and is like, oh god, and throws a spell and gets hit again and goes, oh, and then dies.
Maybe she's just blinking with her eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's just the animation thing.
So I don't know if I'm read the card wrong or whatnot. I think this has got pretty deep gameplay because nothing's going to be the same. There's multiple I call them heroes, your champion, I forget the term they use. There's multiple ones of those that have completely different play styles. The one you start with is very much kind of meant for you to go a lot of offense because it defends itself well. Some of them are more defensive based. Some only really kick in if you're overwhelmed and they start doing AE damage if there's like X amount of people on your side of the field. So it definitely, like Duelist, kind of caters to more play styles. I also think this game is potentially more noob friendly for someone jumping into the game. Yes, there's some strategy, but if you just go through the tutorials, I feel you're good enough to play against other people. So
yeah, I got kind of stomped a bit when I went to play against other people, though, to be honest. Like, I saw the tutorials up to the expert ones,
Mhm.
and when I went into regular games, it was like no contest on the first few. They just
Really?
rolled me.
Part of me is I'm not quite sure how to build a deck. You can completely stick with what you got and replace, like, at first I was like, okay, I'm going to take out a 4-cost guy and put in a 4-cost guy, thinking the mana curve was right. So that's the thing. But that's also kind of like any other game like that. You need to figure out team comps and decks. Like if you're playing Magic or Hearthstone, you got to figure out a synergy in your own deck that works.
Yeah, my like end deck that I last was playing before I quit had two drops, at least two drops in there, because it's something that you can get a new draw with. Like they're easy to get out quick, and you
Yes.
get new card draws to get you to your better things. You can't just have a bunch of really expensive stuff because you'll get overwhelmed. Uh, what else is there? There's the shards. The shard currency is like dust in Hearthstone or
Yeah, you can
Duelist
craft
Spirit.
cards with it.
Yep. Which is probably what I should do because you got 500 dust when you got the pack or whatever. And I've gotten dust or shards a few times when I opened packs. You open a card.
I don't call them packs. It's like a power stone or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but anywhere else it's a friggin' pack. Could you imagine opening a booster pack of Magic and it's just one card?
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you scale it,
I don't know, one card.
it's 60 cards in a deck in Magic.
It would be like getting 4 of the same card in a Magic pack.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think about it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It scales how many cards you can play at a time. I think.
Yeah, and there's probably not a whole crazy amount of cards in the game yet, so they want to slow people down a bit. Hold your horses.
And this is early release.
Yeah.
So
oh man.
say that.
And some of the balance, like this is what I was talking about with like free to play versus pay to win. In the expert tutorial things, there was one enemy, and it was a legendary, and I think it cost like 5. And when it dies, it deals 1,000 damage to something. And 1,000 is a lot. Your tower, what does your tower start at? Like
25, $3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Okay. It can hit your tower when it dies. And I played a match where 2 of those died, and they randomly went to my tower. It does all the damage to one place. So it just destroyed my tower.
Yeah.
And I had nothing I could have done about it. Like, I don't know of any silence type of things that just get abilities, like, removed.
There was one guy I played against, and if I figured out if there was no other valid targets on the field, in front of it, it hit your tower. If there was things behind it, it ignored them. But if there was nothing between your tower and it would shoot your tower. So I figured that out, and I kept 2 drops. The second that guy got low in health, I would spawn my 2 drop just to have something sitting there like, hey, shoot me instead. And that seemed to help. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the, like, I think a lot of it comes down to just knowing interactions.
This one was just a random enemy. I could have swore it was just a random enemy gets hit for 1,000. Because it can hit little dudes, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to see the guy.
Flipping tower twice. Because it's when it dies. So if one of my other minions killed it, it could have been a target. I don't know. It was just annoying. And maybe they'll fix that with balance stuff. I mean, it definitely felt like a legendary card. It felt strong because it'll probably kill whatever it hits. If it doesn't hit your base, it hits for 1,000. It's a lot. Yeah, it'll just one-shot it when it dies.
So we did have a question from the audience.
What's that?
Miss Sandra D. Is there any advantage to playing several low-cost cards in a deck?
Yeah, I found. I played the archers, which are low cost, and they shoot things in the air. But all the low cost stuff seems to take like very little damage to die. And then I played the swarming little zombie minions, and I chose to go with 2 different minions that are very cheap, just so I can cycle through my deck quicker to get to the better cards in the end. Because it feels like a lot of the other cards are just much more powerful. And sometimes those swarms are good for taking bridges. Because all you have to do is walk a person past the bridge to get the XP, and being able to just pop, put them on both bridges and get that XP quick is definitely advantageous. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say like Hearthstone, it's a curve, right? So you need some beginning until you kind of plateau towards the middle, and a couple of your just hard beaters at the end. Like you want a cleaver, the other guy, the things that just do a ton of damage, but maybe you're slower moving.
I'm curious to wondering what it would be like if you just had all 1 and 2 cost guys.
And just Zerg?
Yeah, because you still get the same amount of mana that regenerates, so you just put out a ton of stuff. Dude, I got 1 card. I actually did get a rare out of one of my
The
stones
assassin.
or whatever. Well, I had an assassin too, but I have one that's it's a 4-cost card. It's a mystery card. It's a play a random 5-cost card.
Yeah, I got that guy too.
That's so cool. Every time I played it, I felt like I was winning because
Yes.
it played like the statue guy, and then that was after I got the guy that made the gravestone, so the statue guy, and then I made a gravestone, and when they finally killed the statue guy, he respawned.
Nice.
So for 4 mana, I got 2 of the statue killer guys. It was nuts.
2 5-drops.
Yeah, and then I had like the
That's value.
one that's a helicopter that whenever somebody hits it, they get stunned, and it has a lot of health too. And it just felt like every time I played it, it was just really good. And I feel like it only makes a minion. I don't know if there's any 5-cost spells because
I
it
think
never
it only makes minions.
Yeah, it never
I think
casts
it doesn't
a
make
spell.
the 5. I think it specifically says a random 5-drop minion.
Yeah, that card was really cool.
Yeah.
And it seems like
Jack in the Box and it spins. And
yeah, it seems like the power is pretty balanced at each mana cost. Like what they do for their mana feels like it
Yeah.
should be right. But I also haven't played enough games. Like if you play against a seasoned person and you see that they keep playing this weird 3-drop or something, it's probably because it's a little more powerful, deals a little more damage or something like that.
So it's early access, so I'm assuming there's a lot of game balancing. It's officially been out for, what's today's date? 6, so it's been out for 4 days.
Yeah.
So we're kind of early on it, so we also may see it before any kind of game balancing, before they get any really data on it. I really like the game. I'm very much going to continue to play this game. I like MOBAs. I like any kind of competitive game. And I feel this has a shot where my issue with MOBAs right now, I don't know if it's just me getting old or just not as good as these little 18-year-old punk kids, is reaction time. I can't physically click fast enough that sometimes is now required in League of Legends.
Yeah, and this game doesn't require
this
that.
one, it requires some speed, as you'd have to be reactionary, especially when you're waiting for that half second for something to spawn. So there is a bit of quickness, but it's a lot of quick decision making, which that I can pull off. So I like the physical constraints, I guess is the word I'm looking for the gameplay. So like I feel like I can play everything off. I don't feel at any point I'm overwhelmed and can't react fast enough. I'm literally half the time just staring at my 4 cards, waiting for one to recharge or a specific one to recharge.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was just thinking.
Boom.
The mana doesn't regenerate fast enough where you have to keep like spastically pressing keys and things, because they have it so you can play with QWER as your 4 cards, and then you just click a place and it'll drop it down there. Oh, I'm pretty sure that's how it worked, but I didn't do it that way because I just clicked and dragged. Like I clicked the thing at the bottom and then I put it on the board.
Oh, really? See, because it was the QWER and I played so much League.
Yeah.
I had the fingers on QWER.
Yeah, I didn't touch that at all.
Q click, W click, E click. So
because a lot of times just waiting for the thing to finish, and maybe I'd have gotten a little better by getting him, right when the mana was done, but I don't know. It didn't feel like it would have been any different.
Well, I bet in the grand scheme of min-maxing this game, that there is probably some spells per minute type situation where you want to be the second that mana hits, you're trying to precast it as much as you're spamming the button or whatever. There's probably at the point where you get super competitive that becomes a skill. I use skill in quotes.
Yeah, and maybe stacking up 7 mana and then casting 3 spells, might be a little better. Just like get them real quick.
I did it one time. I noticed I had a 2, and a 3, and I'm like, what if I just save 7 and just rapid fire? And it helped me, but you gotta realize they are casting spells too, so you very much gotta time. So there's a lot of counterplay in this game.
Yeah, it stinks being on the back foot.
Yeah.
Because they'll be at your base, and like some of the pathing you just don't 100% know how it's gonna work all the time. Like which enemy are they gonna shoot? Like do they prioritize the same enemy in a group if you have multiple guys? It's like I don't know. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, that once they get to your base and start hitting you, it's pretty frantic.
Yeah, you get panicky because you're like, oh god, because then it feels like it doesn't recharge nearly as fast.
Yeah, like I've been waiting for 1 mana for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, kill me. Right now, I don't see that there's an actual free version on Steam, but it does show that there is Minion Masters Plus Premium Bundle available, and it's normally $19.99. I think it's on sale now for, $16.99?
Yep.
And if you were lucky enough to get the last monthly Humble Bundle, you could have gotten it for $12 with a bunch of other games, which is pretty awesome. So, let's do our rating system. Where are you going to put Minion Masters Forced to Duel?
I'm going to give it a little more leniency because it is pre-release, pre-alpha, or early access, I should say technically. And so I'll let that slide on a couple of my gripes. I'll give it a solid 8.5.
Whoa,
I'm a fan of this game.
that's
I
really good.
I foresee me being able to grow with the early access and be kind of part of the base community because I like PvP games in general,
Mm.
and so this one I think allows to have a variety of or play styles and really not get repetitive. Matches are fairly quick. I want to
Yeah,
say
they're really
5 minutes in and out.
something like that. A lot of the ones where I played against people, it was less than that.
Yeah. So unlike League of Legends, 45-minute matches, low elo,
That's
there's
like unheard
an
of in this
hour
game.
match.
There's no
This would
way.
be impossible to do.
Yeah.
So I like games you can get in and out, especially if they're non-pausable games. So if I have to go do something, I can get in. So
Oh, I'd be
yeah, I'll go a
miserable
solid
if you could pause this game. That'd be awful.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it, and this is a little lenient. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because I feel like this game would be a lot better if they just gave you all the content. And they explained on their Steam page that they plan on expanding on the content in the future. But I generally prefer if you make a big cohesive expansion or just let me buy it. Let me buy the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying give me all the cards right now, but I don't like the system the way that it's set up now. Maybe change your animations on your stones or something to not show the wheel. I mean, I guess they're trying to build suspense with that little
That you
wheel.
might get something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it just feels bad. Like maybe if they had like a Monty 3-card Monty or something, and like it showed you the border was flashing and then it moved around. I don't know, something else. I just don't like being able to see all of what you could have had because there's some packs I opened that was like legendary, epic, 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 and it's like you got 50 shards. It's like thanks,
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I don't even know what that's gonna make. So the gameplay itself, I did enjoy. I played through all the tutorial stuff and then I played against people. Unfortunately, my internet could not handle playing against people. And this is all that I was doing was playing this game, and there was bad lag. And I don't know if that's like just
Disclaimer: you have fairly
my
horrible
internet's
internet.
crap, but like there are plenty of games that it plays with no problems. Like
That's true.
World of Warcraft, I had no issues playing. I mean, it's just because it's resource light and it's been out for a really long time. But this game definitely had some issues, and it's not the computer. The computer I was playing on was no
Yeah,
problem. All the
sure.
matches before were fine. I don't know. Maybe if I played it on some better internet, I could have enjoyed it a little more. But there were times in the PvP matches where it was like I was like 3 seconds behind and like 2 mana that I couldn't spend, and it just will cost you the game because you can't catch up. So it is kind of tough to catch up once you're down. The microtransactions and things also are kind of like I said. I want to buy everything at once if I can. So that kind of what takes points away from me. The core of the game, I like. I definitely like the core of the game. And like I was telling you before we started the cast, I would like to play this with friends. Like, even if there's a way to play locally, that'd be awesome to be able to just sit with a friend and play. But I guess you'd have different decks on different sides, but I don't know. It just feels like what my preference would be, but I usually prefer that local multiplayer type of thing anyway, so. 6.5 for Minion Masters Forced to Duel.
Yes, check it out. It's on Steam.
Yep.
It just came out.
Yeah, you can be one of the first to review it. I think there's 9 reviews on it now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna my first playthrough I had driver issues that went in my recording, but so I'm gonna record a video of me playing some live matches and throw those up on the YouTube channel. You have a video that we're gonna throw up on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I'll put it up anyway. I didn't do the commentary or anything on this week. Things are tight, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. So check that game out. Let us know what you think, and where can they let us know?
Well, there's actually quite a few places. You got Doombrowski.com. There's a podcast section, and you can leave comments there. We have the email address, doomninjapodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
We're doing a live stream right now on Tuesday. Any interest that you have, you can always drop into the live stream and say, hey, what up, playa? I like that game that you talked about last week.
We will definitely recognize you.
Yep. We have a Twitter at DoomNinjaCast.
Because podcast is too long.
Yep. And we have our own personal Twitters, r_Doombrowski and
at the Ninja Fat Man.
The Ninja Fat Man. Those are all places you can get in touch with us. Everywhere. You search the internet, the Googles, for Doom Ninja Podcast. Somehow you'll find a way to get in touch with us.
The SEO finally kicked in.
Oh yeah,
it took us like 2 months.
The whole first page. Remember podcast? It's Doom Ninja Podcast, and you'll find tons of things.
Yeah. a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
The Gonna Geek Network. Dude, we just talked about that for half an hour. Did you clip?
No.
Okay.
I accidentally, my knuckle hit the mic, so there's one little spot, but you were talking, so I think it'll be easily fixed. Yeah, good call on this is the game to play. I liked it.
Yeah, it looked like the best broad game to pick out of the group, and that's the first one I downloaded because I wanted to play it anyway.
I need to pull up the other file so we can do our podcast review and do one of the Gonna Geek podcasts. You know, we like podcasts. Check out this one.
Yeah, we'll just do like an equivalency version of it. We'll do one of those.
Share with me.
Oh, no. Is this stream still going? My stream kicked out on me. I can't see it now. Let's see. There we are. That's me. That's me on the bottom. Ooh.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
Who wrote the Book of Love?
No. I gotta find the link to the document that has
the promo reads?
Yeah.
I will send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Because I am prepared. Alright. So, for those watching the live stream, this is part of the action here.
Some of the behind the scenes
stuff. We cut it in because it just makes it easier to make sound much more professional. At least in my opinion. We could just do one long run, but there's more ums and uhs and trying to get things together, and our show notes have to be more cohesive than what they currently do. So, this is how we do. Alright, let me get the comments pulled back up here. Yeah, thanks everybody for all the interaction tonight.
Yeah, there's been a lot of time.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Let's give some quick shout outs. So we got William, we got Mother Show Penny, we got Kale, we got Sandra, we have
Roy's there now.
Roy. I just saw Roy join. What's up, bud? And then Roy. I feel dumb because there's a man named Cole Tunn with a space in the middle, and it literally was like, who's Colonel Tunn?
Colonel Tunn.
And I realized it's a super fan of the show, Colton. And I felt dumb. Yeah, it's been a long day. That'll be part of my broadcast.
Colonel Tunn.
Well,
that would have never crossed my mind. Too good.
All right.
I like that.
Let's do. Do you want to break it up like the promo copy, or just have one of us read it?
Well, let's do the studio update, and then do that at the end.
Okay.
And I'll figure out where I want to plug it in.
We'll do the All Things Good and Nerdy.
Okay, that's fine.
I talked with a couple of them when I was on the official Gonna Geek podcast.
Let me make sure I exported this. Minion Master! Minion Master! Here we go. Closing out of the other Audacity to give myself more random access memory. Alright.
Hold on, did I export it right? Yeah, Minion Master. Alright, ready? So Ryan, what is going on with Studio Doombrowski?
This week, I'm still working at the damn electrician's job, so I'm up early and tired as crap all the time and haven't had a whole lot of extra time to work on it. But the weekend came around, and that gave me mornings, at least. So I get 4 hours each morning, so I got about 8 hours of working on it. I got Santa, Mall Santa, that I've been working on for Suburban Scavengers, the tug-of-war fighting game where you're trying to get a garbage couch into your house. Mall Santa is technically in the game.
Did you get the animations done?
I have the animations done. I posted a Twitter post for the victory animation, which I was going to go for something festive and Santa-y, but he's a Mall Santa, so it didn't really matter what he did, because when I hear Mall Santa, I think of like a drunkard, or just somebody who behind the scenes should not be Santa.
If you saw what they did at home.
Yeah, it's like gross. But I I use Spriter for my animations, and Spriter has some little quirks. And I had some issue where I was trying to undo some things, which is Control Z in any program ever, and it is in this program as well. But it Control Z, and it was showing like the animations moving back, and it seemed like it was like undoing things correctly. But I noticed that all my keyframes had disappeared, and somehow they like stepping forward just wouldn't bring them back correctly. So I had like this 3-phase animation, this long animation, and the last time I saved it was at the beginning of the second phase. So I lost the third phase. What what Santa Claus does as a victory animation, which you can find on Twitter if you go to r_Doombrowski, I posted a tweet of it recently. He he does pelvic thrusts. He does 3 pelvic thrusts, and then he does this walk thing where he's making one arm like an Egyptian in front of his face, like doing a snake thing, and he's spinning his arm like fully around, like sticking straight out. He's spinning it around in a circle, and he's moving his head back and forth too. It looks so ridiculous. Like, it looks so funny. But so I went with that because it was cracking me up. The original third phase was going to be him doing like a creepy crawly walk, like Santa would probably do through your house to like not make any sounds. So it was going to be pelvic thrust, spinny arm thing, and then like, hey, creepy Santa. But now it's just the arm and the pelvic thrust. And he does pelvic thrust, and then he walks forward, and then he does pelvic thrust, and he just keeps moving forward. So he moves across like a half of the screen like by the time the victory thing is done. So he technically has everything that he needs, minus sounds, to just be 100%.
Yeah.
The sounds are a little screwy right now because the way that sound and sprites kind of copy over is still accommodating for... It still thinks there's only 2 players. There was originally just a male and a female, so Santa has a female voice. So I gotta change those, but I'm gonna record new sounds for it. And I'm gonna,
I mean,
like...
I'm Santa-like in stature. I could help.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna knock him out in like 2 seconds. So I'm gonna be like, ho! 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 He's punching. He's ho-punching. Ho! But no, don't worry about it. Like,
I tried,
Yeah.
This hurt, cuts deep.
Dude, you don't sound mall Santa enough.
You never heard my mall Santa voice.
You need to smoke more cigarettes to sound more like a mall Santa. I don't smoke, but...
Hey, sweetheart, come here. Tell me what you want for Christmas.
Oh, God. That's too raspy. Oh, God.
Smokers do.
I know, just... Ugh. Anyway, so this weekend I'm going to be working on the menu systems. Now that there are 3 characters, originally when you're playing 2-player, I just put you in the game, because there's only 2 characters. So player 1 always gets the male, player 2 always gets the female. You can't have 2 players picking the same player because they look exactly the same, and I don't want to make different colors, and I don't want to confuse people. So, now that there's 3, I have to make a menu system that allows you to select the other players, to allow you to not select what your opponent is selecting, so it'll hop over with the little animation. And I gotta scale down the, there's like a border that like rotates around the squares.
Yep.
And actually, fun fact, that's only a 4-frame sprite animation, and it looks like 16 because I turn it because it's an exact square. So save a little bit of space on my texture page.
Humble brag over here.
I saved like 200K on my texture page. But I need to scale those down because now it's 3 next to each other instead of 2 next to each other. And I got to put it in for 1-player and 2-player. And then the sounds, and after that, it'll be ready for people to play. I was considering putting snow in and making snowfall, but right now I'm a little burnt out, like just on everything. Like the job has made it so like I can only work on my game a couple days a week, and there's a big gap in between. And when that happens to me, like doing other things that I've been used to continuously doing consistently, I kind of like I lose that spark.
Yeah,
which sucks. Like I know that I will be working on my game this weekend, but like as it stands right now, like I'm feeling like, why am I working on this game? Like, I've put 5 months into it, and nobody really cares about it. Like, my friends are like, they enjoy it, but that's about it. Like, I got like 12 downloads or something. There's no groundswell around it. I don't have a lot of time to advertise for it. Like, I'm just drugged down right now. It sucks.
Someone was telling me a story about this game called Beat Buddy. Where
Beat Buddy.
They had very little sales. They had to lay off a bunch of people, and then they got a break, and boom, took off like wildfire.
But they had a finished game too. Because I know this story because I told you this.
That was kind of the point.
But I got to get to the end, and it feels like part of me is like, it's out, people can play it. I can call that a game. Like that's the gnawing part in my brain, is that I purposely made this a vertical slice, which means it can be released at this point. But my original, like the whole idea of the game was to make a full fighting game with a full roster of characters, multiple backgrounds, and multiple interactables. And the art part of it, Kale is helping with right now, and it's not to say that after he finishes this stint of work that he'll be able to just crush it and just do a whole bunch of it. I don't know. If that's the case, then a lot of the work is taken off of me, and I really don't have to do a lot to get the game to the state that it needs to be. But the last character that I just made, the Mall Santa, I'm about 12 hours in, and there's more time that needs to be done in the character. I had 11 characters slated for the game. So if you stretch that out, this is 3, and 2 of them were included in the 11, so there'd be 9 at, we'll say 15 hours, because 12 plus whatever it's going to take. So that's a crap ton of time. That's weeks of full-time work.
Yeah.
And I don't have full-time, so it would be months. And that's not including backgrounds or making the interactables, which it feels like, and this might be like, shooting myself in the foot, but it feels like the interactables will be much easier than, less time consuming than the first one was, in the couch. Because I'm purposely making them so you don't have to bounce off of them. It doesn't require collisions that are really specific.
Yeah.
The main problem I have with this is that the elbow drop is so fast. It causes problems. It just causes problems. So I'm still working on trying to get them unstuck from the ground. But the other one's like, I got a grill that's going to make a fire barrier above and like burns your hands if you push it for too long. That's easy. A quick little timer and an easy collision that doesn't require speed, like a lot of fast stuff. You hit it, it'll burn you. So those just seem like they're going to be easy, and I can parent them to the couch object so they'll work the same way. It's like when you're pushing the couch object itself does not have the bounce functionality, so I don't have to worry about that giving any problems. But I should be starting a new job next week, which will give me the mornings. Every day until about noon, I'll be able to work on game stuff if I want.
Yep.
But it's essentially going to be my evening time because the job works until the late hours of the night. So that may be something that in the future changes when we record these podcasts, because they're closed. The place that I'm going to work at is going to be closed on Mondays. So Mondays I would be available all hours. But there's a chance that I may talk to the owner, and he's like, "Yeah, you can knock off at 7:30 or something on Tuesdays, which will still give me like 6.5 hours of work, or 6 hours. Maybe that'll be sufficient. Who knows? We'll keep you up to date, everybody. That's pretty much all we got right now. What about the Ninja Fat Man? What are you up to?
So I have the kind of the same thing that you're running into, was work is slowly creeping into my existence. And I'm having a problem with that game-life balance. Cody Goff.
Jonathan Martin.
Yeah. And so there's a bunch of things going on at work, and to not bore people, I'm in essence a project manager. I make sure projects stay online and make sure they get done by a certain time. And my company has said, get as many done, move them up to get them done by the end of the calendar year as possible. And doing that is making my life harder. So, and then trying to schedule that, and I work with colleges a lot, and they're all off for the holidays, so it's making every ounce of this job harder, which is making me even doing more work from home. So I have barely done anything with Glimpse. I forced myself to do a few things because you mentioned like episode 4 that you got to keep pushing through even when you don't want to, just so you don't get out of kind of the mindset. And I slated myself about 2.5 hours. I was like, my wife went to bed early, and I was like, okay, I go to bed around 11. It's 9:30, or I'm sorry, it was 8:30. She was a bit early, and I was like, I can do this. I started, and I was like, literally, I typed 70 lines of code, trying to tweak some things, and kept getting errors, or weird things would happen, and I was like, what the hell? Because the errors were game crash after it initialized. So those are always my most favorite ones. And then just the interaction wasn't happening right. I hit a button to do the dive. That's literally the only thing I was working on was the X button. I'm sorry, the B button dives between two obstacles.
Mm.
I was just trying to make that interaction, and it was not working, and it was pissing me off, and I was getting frustrated. And I was like, why does it? Literally, the second it goes through the wall gets blown up. And the obstacles aren't supposed to get destroyed. That's the whole point. They get destroyed after the fact when you go to the next level. It resets, but not pass it, destroy, and then the guy stops running.
Of course.
And I was like, but there's 4 more obstacles.
Well, Kool-Aid Man bursts through a wall. He doesn't just keep running.
Yeah.
He stops to say, oh, yeah.
So that happened, and literally, I could not figure out what the heck was going on. I reread text, and if you follow me on Twitter, I kind of teased it. I had, what are those called, brackets?
I don't know, just bracket.
The
Usually people call it curly braces.
curly braces. I had 1 curly brace, well, actually 2 curly braces in the wrong places. And I didn't mean that for the wrong. Once I figured that out, because here's the issue. A lot of coding engines have error checking, and it will tell you, this technically is not an error.
No.
Because it said, look, I can execute this, watch.
Yeah, it said, here's the first brace, here's the second brace.
Yep.
There you go.
Go. And so there was no error from the error checking. A lot of times, the error checking, I just look at the notes, it's like, oh, unexpected argument, or invalid variable, or something, and I can go...
Typo.
Yeah, I can be, oh, I'm stupid. I didn't do anything wrong. It's like when you hit spell check on Word, and you meant to spell fog, and you put in dog, and it went, no, I'm good.
Yeah. No, dog's right.
Yeah, dog's a word. So that literally took 2 hours to figure out what it was, because I thought it was something else, so I rewrote that something else 2 different ways, going, no, this just... At one point, I went online, I was like, no, there's just something wrong. I know what I'm doing. What the hell? Like, I thought it was the movement engine, and then I thought it was some weird collision checking thing that I put in, but it wasn't it. And then, literally, I'm sitting frustrated, rubbing my temples. I close my eyes, and when I open them, I literally, like, my eyes focus right on that curly bracket, or curly brace, whatever it's called. And I went, wait a minute, son of a... I fixed that one, hit go, it did slightly different. I went, oh, I know, or the other one, it immediately knew what it was. Yeah. And I was like, God dang it, and then fixed them, and then everything worked right.
That often seems to be the way that it goes. Like, last week I was telling you where I had the same problem, where I had a brace that was causing the other player to just be destroyed. And it's because the brace was one line...
Level too high.
Yeah, one line too high instead of being lower. I also had problems like that with the Otronicon build, the Suburban Scavengers, where it was just completely crashing. And it's because there was just an object that wasn't being checked for before, using it. Which is stupid. It's just like literally one single line before it. So, little stuff like that can be frustrating, but once you know it, it's like ingrained in your brain.
Yeah.
Like, you'll always check for these types of things now, like, always. Like, I have so many, like, if objects exist things everywhere now. Like, it just, you can't crash. You're not allowed.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. So that was the main development thing, and then literally taking a break. The second I figured out the 2 and it ran right, I went, no, okay, I'm done. And I have a friend who works in the movie industry, and they sent me an early release of the new Transformer movie trailer. And I'm old enough where Transformers was a relevant cartoon when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my gosh, and literally had a slight epiphany for a video game. And so it was like, oh no, I said, I can't stop making glimpse, but so I wrote down a bunch of stuff so basically it's take League of Legends and mix in Transformers, but don't get sued. So I had an idea for a top-down, non-3D MOBA that instead of getting items, you get parts that allow you to transform into different manners. Ooh.
This guy with this, like, sports center up. It's like, League of Legends checking in. We're not going to allow that.
So I had some ideas, and I'm not stopping working Glimpse. I just literally it was one of those, like, suddenly had a ton of ideas, and I already had, like, code in my brain for, like, oh, I can do this way, and this way, and, oh, I already know where to go steal that code from to make this easier.
The idea that you're talking about where that sounds big. It sounds really big.
I think it's like Suburban Scavengers, and once the mechanics are down, you can make a smaller version and then expand, which may not be the way to do it, as you're kind of running into with it's going to take you 120 hours to get your other 9 characters.
If I do it all myself, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's something like, again, I've said I'm not giving up on Glimpse because I still think it's a good idea, but I had the juice, if that makes any sense.
No, I know exactly how it is, because even when I'm working on Decimate, I started on that at the beginning of this year, 2016, and I have like multiple papers of other game ideas while I was working on that game still in a folder right now of like weird little things, like weird picture-taking games and stuff, like really obscure stuff that just kind of popped in my head for whatever reason, like little weird ideas like that. So it's a good idea. It's good that you're writing it down because that stuff will probably show up somewhere else. Like you see, like a lot of game developers will pull, or even people that make movies or books, they'll pull from their past experiences, like their own life and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same as having things written down, like in memory. So it's good that you're writing it down, and it's totally normal that you're getting a lot of ideas. That's good that the juices are kicking in.
Yeah. So I put them in a Google Doc because literally at work today I was like, oh, more idea. Scratch the other idea I have because any of that's stupid. And so, but I think it's neat because the gripe I have with MOBAs a lot of the times is you're stuck to certain play styles, and it's hard to change mid-match. Like League of Legends, you pick a role to start the match.
Yeah.
Overwatch has this from a first-person standpoint, from a shooter standpoint, is you can change the roles on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not making it that fluid. But I thought it would be neat to give you more options for hybrids, and if you want to, like, it would allow for more combinations of skills and play styles. Where a lot of MOBAs today, you kind of are stuck in some very, I don't want to say it's a straight line, but there's bumpers on that bowling alley that don't allow much variance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it would be neat. And then the theme would be kind of robots, mechs, and stuff. So, like I said, I got ideas, but I'm trying to stay focused on finishing one game before I jump into that.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely feels good to have finished a game. A lot of people cannot say that they finished a game or finished one that's not a tutorial and actually taking the time to release it.
Yeah.
I've found that's a big hurdle that a lot of people can't get over. So that'd be my suggestion. You're already on the right track. Just finish something and then let your ideas get on to the next thing. Like right now I'm like, oh, I want to get to the next game. Like there's people that want to like collab and make games and stuff. It's like, oh, I should just do it, but I gotta finish this game. Like I gotta get to the end.
I also think I'm a month away from feeling confident enough to maybe jump into a Ludum Dare.
Dude, that'd be sweet. Dude, I'd do it with you. Like if you're gonna do it, maybe I'll come over here and bring my setup or something, and we could crack down on it at the same time. Like not necessarily the same one unless you wanted to, but I think it'd be good to have that type of support and sleeplessness.
Yeah. So I think I want to try one of those, but that's pretty much it for me. So you can check out all of Ryan's stuff on his blog on doombrowski.com.
Yep.
I've been way better at keeping a somewhat regular YouTube schedule. I've been putting up 2 a week pretty consistently. Sometimes I put them up the same day just because to make up for, or like I know work's going to be crazy. Like tonight, 2 videos are going up at the same time for 2 different games. So actually, I'm going to try to get a Minion Masters one up tonight because I already know I'm going to be up late. So, but check out you can see our own studio updates on Twitter and on our website. So, or your website.
Yeah.
So check it out.